Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 53 of the Wrestling Fans Insight. I'm your host, John Hoppy. We are going to be without William this week. He's feeling a little under the weather, so William, please get feeling much better. But we are joined by our same team from last week. We've got Heather. Heather, how are you?
I'm doing good. I actually had a pretty good week and got to watch wrestling like always. Missed a couple of little matches and stuff, but I'm going to just give y'all takes on what I watched.
Awesome. And we've also got Carlos. Carlos, how's it going for you, brother?
Good, guys. Feeling good. Glad to be back. Looking forward to discussing what I think was a good week in wrestling. I think it was a good week for both companies.
All right. And we've got here for a second week in a row, Bryan Ballard. Bryan, how you doing?
Doing good. Good week in review coming up for us, but it's going to be a strong WrestleMania week, so I'm excited and ready to roll.
Awesome. And we're going to kind of change the format again. We're going to stick with AEW, being the fact that we are heading into the road to WrestleMania. So let's go right ahead and get started with AEW Dynamite. We had the six-man tag of Sting, Darby Allin, and Orange Cassidy defeating the team of I can't talk already. Defeating the team of Kip Sabian, The Butcher, and The Blade. For the AEW World Tag Team Championship, the Guns defeating Top Flight. In a non-disqualification match, Hook easily taking out Stokely Hathaway. Jon Moxley killing Dark Order Stu Grayson. And Tony Storm defeating Sky Blue. In the dream match that I guess everybody was looking for, Kenny Omega defeating El Hijo del... And how do you pronounce that last name, Carlos? Is it Vikingo? Vikingo. Okay, thank you. And going right to Rampage for the TNT Championship, Powerhouse Hobbs retains over Penta El Cerro Miedo. Brody King defeating Jake Hager. Taya Valkyrie defeating Layla Gray. And the Acclaimed taking out the Kingdom's Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. Why don't we go ahead and do ladies first? Heather, what was your thoughts on this week's AEW programming?
I thought it was pretty good. The matches were pretty solid. The Kenny Omega and the El Hijo del Vikingo, oh my God. That match was insane. And then everybody, had been bitching because they didn't know who he was. Del Vikingo. They was like, who is that? And they're always like, AEW doesn't have storylines. They just tell you this, and this. Okay, that's what Google is for. Go and look up who the wrestlers are if you don't know who they are. But anyway, that match was insane. And then the Ass Boys versus Top Flight. That was a good match. I love Top Flight. The way, the screenshot that I sent y'all of the dude talking about, oh, what? You didn't have enough flips and kicks and all that. I'm sorry. And just like I said, the flips and the kicks, that's part of wrestling now, whether you like it or not. It shows great athleticism and, just get over it. This is not the 80s or the 90s. This is, that's wrestling now. And the flips and the stuff that Top Flight does, the way they work together and everything is just excellent. And, the Stokely and the Hook match, really, that was just, I thought that was funny. And then Mox and Stu Grayson, Mox, was the beast like he always is. And Powerhouse Hobbs versus Penta. Penta really put on a good show, just like Ray Phoenix did. Of course, Ray Hobbs is not going to lose that belt anytime soon. Brody King versus Jake Hager. Brody King, yeah, he's absolutely dominant. And Layla Gray versus Taya Valkyrie. No, it's not even a match. I just can't wait for her to take on Jay Cargill. And the Acclaim versus the Kingdom. Yeah, but that was an okay match. Of course, I love the Acclaim, just like Carlos does. And the whole thing with the Blackpool Combat Club attacking everybody, yeah, insane. But overall, it was a pretty good week for AEW.
All right. Brian, what was your take?
So I didn't catch a lot of AEW this week, but for Heather's comment there, I just want to give a nice round of applause there. Flips and kicks definitely are part of wrestling, along with all kinds. And I personally like the fact that we have some variety between power wrestling and speed wrestling and technical wrestling. So I just want to add to that and give you a round of applause, Heather.
Thank you. Because, we had that problem before when on one of the matches. I think it was the same guy that made that comment. And you was ready to go off on him, and I just stepped in, because, it's like I said, it's here to stay, just deal with it,
I didn't realize that was the same guy.
I think it was. That's why I said, as I previously stated, because I'm pretty sure it was the same guy.
There's times where I'm just going to set my phone down and take my hands off the keyboard because I don't want to my fingers to do the talking. So,
Yeah, sometimes you just have to learn to tell them to F off, Heather. So, just don't let them.
Well, I wasn't rude or anything. I just told him, I told him it's here to stay. I didn't cuss him. I didn't yell at him. I just told him, and then he backed off what he said. And and he said what? Because it was about the Omos and Brock Lesnar match. And I was like, he's like, you didn't like this? No, I don't like the match because it's dumb, and I don't like Omos. Like, okay, get over it. So.
Wow, I think you need a hug. Okay, so Carlos, do I dare get your insight this week?
Of course. Hello. It's time for the main event. So first of all, the thing I want to point out is I just think it was another really good week for AEW, and I think they're going in the right direction. I think the one thing that people like Heather said that they want to comment on storyline. They don't have storyline, but it's like. There was, I guess, the storyline that, again, for the fans that are in the know, is like first of all, like AAA was making amends with AEW because they kind of did him dirty when they had a big thing with Dragon Lee announcing him going to NXT and stuff like that after they'd had a good relationship with AEW. So part of what Vikingo being there was about Conan making amends with AEW and just rebuilding that relationship. Because, they want to be in business with them. So that's why they got to have a match on Dynamite instead of it being like in AAA. The one thing I want to point out, too, is there was a storyline, actually, because the people want to say AEW doesn't have stories. Well, they did. They had a good storyline going all week, the whole show with the Backflow Combat Club and the Elite. And they started off with them attacking the BCC, the BCC attacking the Elite, and how Don Callis is kind of playing the heel again, trying to get Kenny away from the Bucks because he wants to his real ticket back. He wants Kenny to be in singles action, and the Backflow Combat Club being the heels, so that whole storyline was entangled in the whole show and even on Rampage too. So again, give them kudos and give them their flowers because they are doing storyline, and just like the whole storyline with the Top Flight and the Kingdom as well, and even with the Acclaimed and the 2.0. So it's like they are doing storylines. So they are listening to fans. They are trying to give you what it's want, but they're also staying true to themselves too. And that's every week you're going to tune in Dynamite and you're going to see some really good action. And for me, it was just another great wrestling thing. So as far as I thought the 6-man was really good. It was really fun for them. And and again, it's showing what they do right and what AEW does better than WWE is they give their legends respect. And I think that was a really good match. And again, it's just kind of, I just kind of want to see who's eventually going to dethrone Orange Cassidy. And Sting was just, was ageless. Gun Club versus Top Flight was really good. For me, it was just shorter than it should have been, but it served its purpose. I'm rooting that Top Flight wins the Ring of Honor titles this Friday at Death Before Dishonor. I think they'd be really good Ring of Honor champs. But for me, again, the thing for me about that match was it was just the aftermath of FTR coming out, and they had a really good segment with the Guns, and so finally they did what I thought was coming, and they did a stipulation, where they said if they can't beat the Guns, they're going to retire, they're going to leave AEW. So again, I'm excited for this because to me, I want to see FTR go back to WWE because I just think I want to see them kind of like go back there and get treated correctly. But at the same time, I'm not going to complain it because I love their theme songs. So I'd love to see the same AEW too. But again, I think this is what people do, and people were complaining, like I was saying online, like, oh, they shouldn't be doing this. Get in there with one fan. They shouldn't be doing this for the Ass Boys. I can't believe they're going to be doing this for Gun Club. There are so much other better tag teams. And I was telling that one guy, I'm like, look though, like, look at the reaction that the Gun Club gets when they come out. The fans hate them. They're getting good heat. Like, that's what AEW needs more of, because I feel like there's so many heels that play email there, and it's like they're actually guys that draw heat. Like, and for them, if they were the ones to end FTR's AEW careers, like, boys, just give me the heat. Like, that would add more to that. So let those guys come out. And if it's going to happen, let it be the Gun Club, because that's they'll play on it forever, and why not let them have that kind of heat? So again, I predict FTR is going to lose, but we'll see. Again, like Kevin said, Hook and Stokely was really funny. I loved Stokely paying homage to Farouk, and he just did a good job of getting his ass kicked, and that was a really fun match. Cole Garcia had a great in-ring promo. Again, I'm excited for face Adam Cole. I think that he could be a challenger for MJF down the road, and I'm really looking forward to this match. The Blackpool Combat Club, again, I'm like, damn you for letting me cheer for bullies. But Moxley had a really great match with Stu Grayson, and he's on a just different level as a heel, and I love it. I think if he could come to the ring smoking a cigarette and put it out in someone's eye, he would right now. He's just doing a really good job with that. I finally found myself appreciating Sky Blue, because, again, for me, I just wish she got more wins. But for Sky Blue, like, she can take a beating and she makes her opponents look good. But I guess she just needs to get some more wins. But I really thought she did a really good job. The main event was spectacular. The only thing for me is, I think, again, I love the flips and stuff too. And again, like me and Brian talk about, when you go live, you appreciate that shit. But like, I think Nico Extra on Twitter showed like a clip where Vikingo almost hit us. Like, he was like inches away from like being paralyzed. So again, maybe just slow it down a little bit. But at the same time, like, the match was spectacular. And again, I just kudos to Kenny for giving Vikingo so much and letting him put so much of his offense in there and showing what he could do before Kenny picked up the win. And as I said on Twitter, I think Vikingo is the son that Rey Mysterio wish he had, because he's a small wrestler and he just fights like Rey Mysterio. For Rampage, again, Rampage was really good. Powerhouse Hobbs, another good win. But as far as Powerhouse Hobbs, I would like to see him in a storyline now where he has a good feud going for the TNT title. Like, where's Wardlow? Ricky and Juice, that was an okay segment. I just hope it's a one and done for Ricky, because I would like to see Ricky feud with Christian personally. Brody King and Jake Hager, it was entertaining, and it was a fresh matchup. I guess, the House of Black's going to get sucked into the Jericho verse, after Anna Jay attacked Juliet. It is what it is. Tyler looked good in a squash match. I just like Layla Gray a lot. I think she just has that it factor for me, and I would like to see them do more with her. They utilize her better. The Acclaimed Kingdom was a lot of fun. The Acclaim were the most overacted AEW. I mean, when they came out, that pop was huge, and so again, I just like how they're using them. And again, if you're not going to make the Acclaim every Wednesday, utilize them on Rampage and try to get those ratings up, and showcase them. And again, and I like the feud they're having with 2.0. I think because I think the Acclaimed are sports entertainers, and I think this is a really fun feud, and I think 2.0 is a really great act. And so I just enjoy their interactions, and I love Daddy and Magic on commentary. So again, both shows were entertaining, and again, a really good week for AEW altogether.
All right. So a couple of points I want to make out. How many of you are actually looking forward to the Adam Cole return for next week against Daniel Garcia?
Big time. Absolutely. That's going to be a great match. And again, I'm excited for him as a face.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting transition, because when he left, he attacked the Bucks and Kenny Omega. Well, no, not so much Kenny Omega, but the Bucks. But we saw that coming when Kenny Omega went out for his injury rehab. And I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see how well, Adam Cole can play both heel and face really well. And it seems like no matter what, even when Adam plays the heel, he's still got too much of a support behind all the fans, and that's sometimes good but sometimes bad. It doesn't really portray a heel very well, kind of like when people are out there singing Chris Jericho's theme music while he's playing the heel role. It just,
And that's what I was talking about too. That's what I was saying. Like, let the Gun Club have their heat because they're one of the few heels that actually get heat. Like, let them keep it. You know, exactly what you're saying.
well, yeah, and you've heard Ted the Hillbilly Hill mention it many times. You need to know when to play that heel role, and the Gun Club are playing it really good right now, and I hope they keep that going for a while, because maybe putting the championships on the Gun Club right now was the right move. I don't know, but I would definitely like to see at some point the Acclaimed get another shot. Maybe after FTR wins it, who knows? That's going to be the interesting moment there, because now we got an interesting point here. FTR put their careers on the line against the Gun Club for one more shot at the AEW Tag Team Championships. Are we looking to see maybe the possible end of FTR in AEW?
I don't think
And again,
so.
we might. And again, for me, like I appreciate the fact that if they are leaving, this is like back, like talking about like back to old wrestling territories, and this like the Undertaker just talked about the way you do business. Like if they are leaving, this is how you do business going out the door. You put another team over, and you go out the right way. So I love how the storyline's playing out.
I think they're playing us all, honestly. I think they plan on staying around. I think they just know there's a lot of controversy surrounding it. And I mean, to me, that makes good business sense. And, if the tide of the fans is going to, go one way, then just kind of ride the wave a little bit. So I think it's a smart move if they are staying to, let's do a retired match or a career ending match and, just kind of play to the narrative.
I mean, to me, like if I'm a wrestler, like I would work for AEW in a heartbeat. Like it wouldn't even be like I don't care. Like you have to work 1 day a week, 2 days a week, and then you can make money on the side doing your own pro wrestling tea store. You can go work independent shows and make money there. You can go wrestle for New Japan and in AAA, and you're still on a big stage. To me, like I mean, I don't. To me, like again, like I see going back and like going to the WWE, like working for Triple H, but like to me, like AEW is like they get all their travel and they get all their hotels paid for by Tony Khan. They get treated like a sports franchise. Like to me, I was saying for your mental health. I think AEW is like the place to be, and I love WWE too. But the way they're just treated by Tony Khan, it's like to me, I wouldn't even second guess it. I was saying AEW the whole time.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, honestly, I think it's a choice between environment versus exposure. It's almost like the MJF, the bidding war of 2024, right? Highly shocked if he does leave. Kind of the same thing with FTR, just on a smaller scale, I think.
All right.
They can also leave for you can always leave for just 2 years and come back too. Like that's the thing, and that's the thing what people need to realize too. And I wouldn't mind seeing that too, where like we used to see back in the WWE and WCW Monday Night Wars, stuff like that. Like why not? I wouldn't mind seeing guys hot shot around back and forth for a couple of years. That would keep things fresh too. So again, I'll be happy either way, being honest.
Yeah, and one final point. Remember, if you leave AEW, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to leave. You could go to Ring of Honor. You could go to New Japan. It doesn't mean you're leaving for WWE. So they could have a match like this, and then they could end up going to Japan or to Ring of Honor or wherever. So keep that in mind.
Sorry, guys. I wasn't sure if you were done. So here's the next point I want to bring up. The whole thing.
CM Punk?
No. I'm so done talking about CM Punk. It's to me, CM Punk's beating a dead horse right now, and I get it. He was brought up again this week with the stuff that he posted on Instagram, but in my opinion, it's kind of more of a counter because we all know WrestleMania coming up. Sure, AEW wants to make some noise and some distraction, and that's what I felt this message from CM Punk was somewhat to do. That's why I kind of feel like we're still kind of being worked as fans. But I don't know. I just want to leave that situation alone if it really isn't the case. Because it's touchy for fans for CM Punk and fans against CM Punk. What I do want to bring up, though, is the whole Don Callis situation. A couple of times during Dynamite we saw where he told Kenny the Bucks going in an ambulance to the hospital might have been the best thing for him so he can focus on his match with, God, I lost my name, with El Hijo del Vikingo. Carlos can pronounce it better. Anyways, but then right at the end, after the match was finished, we see Hangman and Adam Page come back from the hospital to help save Kenny Omega. And he tries to, get his hand away from Don Callis, and Don Callis fakes a fall. Are we possibly seeing maybe Don Callis turning his back on the Elite and joining the Blackpool Combat Club?
Well, that's what I was saying first. And I think that's the thing, but I also think maybe he's trying to, and that's again for me, I think we have a whole year of story here, right, too, because I think the other thing you got to remember too, and I was listening to, I think it was Rhapsody, and they're talking about this. Rhapsody, so remember the Young Bucks were there when they kind of cost Kenny the titles when they stopped down. Didn't they stop Don Callis from helping him cheat? So so if you remember storyline wise, the title when he lost to Hangman. So there's so much storyline where this could go. So Don Callis could just be trying to get Kenny from the Elite first, and then maybe he breaks them up, and then but then he could ultimately turn his back and go with the BCC. I wouldn't mind seeing Don Callis go with the BCC and taking a hill to Kushida with them and having him join the Blackpool Combat Club. I think that'd be awesome.
Do you have a take on that at all, Brian?
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking about it. I have never thought about Callis being over with Blackpool Combat Club. I know he tends to be a little more flamboyant, and I know he fits the theme of the Elite. I would be interested because, that's one thing I did like about William Regal creating the Blackpool Combat Club was, he brought a little bit of street cred, if you will, to being able to be a technical wrestler and being able to, kind of get a little, grimy. And I don't know if I see Don Callis in that role unless they're going to change, he's a great mouthpiece, but unless they're going to change that narrative of who they are, sweating on the mat and bleeding in the gym kind of mentality. So it's interesting.
Heather, did you have any thoughts on that?
No, I don't see him joining the Blackpool Combat Club. I just see him trying to keep the Young Bucks and Kenny separated because he wants Kenny Omega to be a singles wrestler because he's the king of wrestling or whatever. Because like I said, he wasn't even concerned about the Young Bucks going to the hospital, and he definitely doesn't want Hangman to be with Kenny Omega. That's why he pulled the stunt that he did and act like Hangman pushed him down or whatever. I just see that him wanting to keep the Young Bucks separated from Kenny Omega is all I see.
Interesting. So, on to my next one, Brody King and Jake Hager. This is the second week in a row where we've seen Brody King take on a different member of Jericho Appreciation Society. Do you think we're going to keep seeing this feud move on? And do we see House of Black turn face with this feud?
Well, that's the comment I already made. I think that they're going to get. It looks like they're getting sucked. They're getting sucked into the Jericho verse, and I think so. And I think what you'll see is you'll see Jake Hager, Jericho, and Garcia team up against the House of Black because I think Sammy's going to be going after the world title. So I think so, and I think it's a good use for Jericho. Why not? I think so. Yes.
Yeah, I second that. I think that is a natural pathway for both of those groups. So yeah, I definitely feel like that would be the natural flow for it.
Heather?
Yeah, I think so too, because Daddy Magic and Angelo Parker, they keep wanting the Acclaim to join them. I just don't see them doing it. So yeah, I see House of Black maybe coming in because they keep having these matches, with JAS and that just doesn't fit in because both groups are supposed to be bad guys. So it just only makes sense for them to all join forces.
All right. Well, on that note, I've got nothing else to add. Does anybody have some thoughts on this week's AEW programming? Please welcome to grab a mic if you want to say something. But yeah, I'm right there with all of you on that. So
I just had a random thought. If Don Callis was to move into a different direction, it would be fun to see him and Jericho together.
oh dear.
Those two would just be entertaining to watch together, and if he was to back the JAS.
But also maybe you know, there's so much, you know, maybe Kenny Omega told Kenny Omega told, you know, maybe he told Tony he's not going to resign. You know, maybe they're going to use him for the next year to get him to pull over. Like there's so much that we could not know that's going on behind the scenes. You know. But I definitely think, and the thing that I feel like the Elite are just losing some of their. I feel like the company is more Jericho and Moxley's now, because especially like again seeing like Moxley's going to be fighting again next week on Rampage again too, the Battle Drama Club. Like they're getting TV time every week. So I'm fascinated by what could be going on behind the scenes as far as a power shift in AEW in general.
So here's an interesting thought. Do you see Kenny Omega going big and going to the WWE finally?
That's what I said. That's why I said maybe it could possibly happen. Because, I mean, because if you look at it too, like, you know, and again, it's not a knock on Tony Khan, but if all Tony wants to do is put him with the Bucks and have him be trios, like, why not go to WWE and try to win the world title there and be in WrestleMania and have those matchups? You know, it's not going to hurt him to go there for a couple of years and make a lot of money, and you know, and again, so like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if that's the thing they want to go to, maybe that's why they're separated from the Bucks. Maybe that's part of the storyline, the shift too, is, you know, because he wants to go his own path. You know, there's so much that could be going. You know, and just to touch on, I know we don't talk about the whole Punk thing, but he never had a problem with Punk. You know, and I read this week too that he even said, like, I would do business with him in a heartbeat. So I just think it's very interesting of where they're going to go, and maybe this is just, you know. And maybe this is just a way to bring back singles Kenny, you know, because like I think it's more like what Heather said too. I'm in agreement with her. It's more about bringing back single star Kenny Omega and his meal ticket. But again, this all could be leading to him leaving AEW. I could definitely see that happening. But for me, I just want to see the video game come out first, because I know like Tony Khan put a lot of trust in him in getting this video game released. So hopefully he gets that done first before he goes anywhere.
Well, aren't you greedy?
I think it would be never say never, and I don't know which route he would go. I mean, I could see it going either way. I'm not going to lie. I would be salivating over a Kenny Omega AJ Styles match on a big WrestleMania type event. So that would be kind of fun to watch.
What about
and Seth Rollins? Him against Seth Rollins? Oh my gosh.
Seth Rollins would be a great opponent for him. I mean, there's opportunities for him to just have a lot of fresh feuds. Absolutely.
Kenny Omega versus Austin Theory? That would be a killer one.
Oh, Heather, Kenny Omega versus
Logan Paul.
Kenny Omega versus who?
Amos.
Oh. Wow. Brian's poking the bear already.
Boom. Being a storyline with the bloodline for 2 years would be great.
Oh my God, for real?
Heather's going to slap us like she did last week. You guys know that.
Kenny Omega.
Yeah, y'all just wait. No, hell no. For real?
Oh, Lordy. Anyways, doesn't look like anyone's going to throw in some input, so we're going to take a couple minutes break here, get realigned on our adjustment volumes, and sure, we'll be back. Welcome back, everyone. We're going to get right to the WWE. We have quite a bit going on with the Road to WrestleMania weekly programming and my little special part with WWE being live in Salt Lake City last night. So, for Monday Night Raw, Austin Theory defeating Montez Ford, Heather's favorite Omos defeating Mustafa Ali, Dominic Mysterio gets the pinfall over Johnny Gargano, Rhea Ripley defeating Bayley. Ricochet gets a victory over Chad Gable. And the main event, Bianca Belair and Asuka defeat the team of Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. For SmackDown, Cody Rhodes defeating Ludwig Kaiser. LA Knight finally gets his first victory, unfortunately over Rey Mysterio. The women's tag showcase qualifier, Natalya and Shotzi defeating the team of Lacey Evans and Xia Li. Oh, that's wrong. Looks like I'm missing a match, so I'm sorry. My final match I have listed is Gunther defeating Butch, so I know I missed something somewhere.
That was SmackDown. You just jumped to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was talking about SmackDown, but
sorry, I got lost. Sorry.
Was there only four matches?
Yeah, there was only 4 matches.
Okay,
yes, there was only 4. Again, second week in a row, only 4 matches.
I don't know how the hell this happened, but I had one of last week's matches on this week's notes, so that's my bad. That's where I got thrown off. Anyways, that's what makes our podcast legitimate, folks. We're human too. For NXT, we had a ladder qualifier, Tiffany Stratton defeating Indy Hartwell. JD McDonough and Ilya Dragunov goes to a no contest. In another ladder qualifier, Lyra Valkyria defeats Ivy Nile. And in the main event, the team of Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes defeating Pretty Deadly. Brian, why don't we go ahead and start with your thoughts on this week's WWE programming?
Yeah, so me personally, I felt like both shows were pretty solid. I was hoping and waiting for that shift, for that WrestleMania mode, and I expect that to continue more this week. The biggest highlight for me, obviously, this week is finally Rey Mysterio agreeing to fight Dominic, and that punch heard around the world, so to speak. I felt like Rey did not hold back on that punch, which made it really good. And so that was definitely the highlight of the week for me. But I just felt like there was a lot of good matches, like you mentioned. Austin Theory furthering his little mini feud with Montez Ford. And then also, Johnny Gargano getting a little bit of an appearance there in his match. So, I just felt like we got to see a lot of guys that we don't get to see a lot of. But I also felt like they built more towards WrestleMania, and now they can really just kind of capitalize on that going into this week, which, I'm excited for.
Awesome. Did you actually, why don't we just go ahead and go right to Carlos?
All right, I'm walking back to my notes. Sorry. So I love the opening segment. So, my one complaint is I think especially after Usos title reign, I feel like this feud deserved more of I think it just deserved to be announced faster than a tag team match. I think they should have just been on the card from the very beginning. But as soon as Kevin Owens in the opening segment said we're brothers and it's brothers versus brothers, that's all it took to have me, because and again, not all brothers are blood. Again, it's I just that one little line really that one little line had me for the whole feud.
I think we might have lost.
Oh, sorry, I got it back in. So Theory and Montez was a great match. Again, I wish we were seeing Montez in a singles action at Mania. But again, it's just he's great. His time's coming. I like the backstage segment after that between Roman and Jay. I like that Jay didn't tell Roman that he loved him back after Roman told him that he loved him, because I think those, again, more seeds are being planted for the good blood life, because I want the return of main event Jey Uso. I'm saying a prayer that Ali gets his release after Mania, because he just deserves better. I guess everyone has a role, but it's just seeing him get squashed by almost that bad. It was just Impulse's segment was horrid. I'd rather be getting some Logan Paul matches leading up to Mania than that horrid segment. I'm glad they let Dominic beat Johnny cleanly. You go, my Latino tribal chief. Rhea and Bayley was great. Fun. It was fun. It was an unexpected match. I think the WrestleMania Hollywood segment between the Brawling Brutes and Drew was so funny. That was a great one. It was the best one since the Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch one. I'm glad to see Asuka finally turn heel. But again, I just wish she was more violent in her attack of Bianca Belair. I feel like Bianca's right now is like the female version of Wardlow. Like I just feel like she's lost so much momentum. It was great seeing Ricochet and Gable. Like those two should have a TV match every week. That was a really good match. Then I love the Bloodline. I love the Bloodline promo with Cody and Roman at the end. I think they both killed it. And again, I thought just the way Roman called Cody out for leaving, and then just I love Cody's line. Like because I went somewhere else. Now everyone's making more money. Again, I like again as a fan and someone who is on Twitter or someone who reads the dirt sheets. Anytime like WWE like blurs lines and rewards me for my fandom, I'm gonna love that. And again, I'm ready to see Roman lose it all at Mania. It's time. Like again, they need to show people coming over that if you come to WWE, you'll get treated correctly. For NXT, I thought this was a really good episode of NXT. Again, it was really well done. Indy Hartwell and Tiffany Stratton had a great match. I think Tiffany is going to be a top heel in WWE for a long time. Indy made her look great, move her up already. I was entertained by all the Gallows Creed and the Tony D'Angelo segment. Again, I thought it was really funny. I just was this year was in the match as well. I'm excited. I'm excited for the North American title match. I just wish I like Dragon Lee more as a heel, and eventually hope he gets there. And again, I wish there were 6 competitors. I would like to see Nathan Frazier and what's his name, the mathematician guy.
Axiom.
I like to see both of Axiom. I'd like to see both of them in the match. I think if it was all 6 of those guys, they would tear it down. I wish there was just 2 spots left. JD McDonough and Dragunov tore it down. Again, that match was so good. And again, seeing the aftermath of their match, they both just their skin blistering. The fact that they went that hard for a match that didn't even have a finish, and that was just going to a storyline driven ending. Again, it just makes me really appreciate what those guys do every week. Stop the disrespect at Big Body Hobby, LOL. He does a good job every week of you want to see his ass kicked. I love that guy. Laya Valkyria and Ivy Now was a good match. I wouldn't mind seeing Ivy eventually team up with Shayna Baszler once Ronda leaves. I think they make a really good tag team. I thought the debate with Schism and then Chase and Tyler Bate was entertaining. And I like that they're just utilizing Tyler Bate and giving him a spot on the show. And again, that he's going to get to fight Stand and Deliver. The main event served his purpose. I would have liked to see him Pretty Deadly get some more offense in, but again, it's not about them right now. It's about Braun and Carmelo. For SmackDown, again, Cody and Ludwig was a really good match. Again, just hearing the ovation that Cody got from that crowd in Vegas. Again, don't worry about Roman Reigns' 1,000. Don't worry about the days. It's time to put the belt on Cody. Don't take what he's getting from the fans for granted. And I just love, again, I love how much Cody gave to Ludwig, and I just love how much time they got for this match. I appreciate Cody. Like, he was saved a botch. At the end, he almost botched when he was coming off the rope to give the Cody cutter. But again, the fact that he was able to save that and make it look good it just goes to say what he does before, that he's a good wrestler. And I love also when Wade said that, Cody was, that before Cody was fighting to what he thought a WWE superstar was, and now, he's being himself, and he's kind of got his confidence. And again, it just goes to show what the color commentators can add to a match. LA Knight and Ray was really good. Again, I'm glad we finally got to see LA Knight get a win, an important win. The match served its purpose, getting us to what we did the segment after. I love the segment with Rey Mysterio finally getting Dom, and again, I'm excited we're getting this match. I'm super excited for for this. As a member of a deadbeat dad Mexican club, I hope Dom beats his ass. I'm just kidding, but I think storyline wise it makes sense for Ray to win, but I'm pulling for Con Dom. The women's match did nothing for me, and it was just like the least interesting match for me out of the whole card. And it's like, to me, I don't get why these matches don't have the titles at stake, because the titles aren't needed for the 6-man women match. I feel like they should at least be a number 1 contenders match for Mania. But again, I'm glad the women are getting the showcase on the card. But again, I'm just not interested in this match. The contract signing was really fun. I love seeing Gunther, just the way he got into Adam Pearce's face. Like, they're making me do this, putting my title up again when I don't have to be pinned. And I love Butch. I know they're going to go back to eventually to to his old character Pete Dunne, but I just like the way he Butch's antics and how he just jumps, and he's just like jumpy, like a little jumping bean. I just love how he plays the character, and I for one hope he stays there. The match was fun. I didn't like how Drew kind of cost Butch the match at the end because I feel like that's not really like how a face reacts. But at the same time, maybe this is foreshadowing that Drew's going to turn heel. So, and then I love the ending segment. I love WrestleMania. Again, I'm all for that. And again, like I love the women wrestlers, and I've appreciated women wrestling. But Sammy, that match needs to main event WrestleMania, and I won. I'm sorry. Like the women can hold their hats. The fact that there's going to be two matches on each card, but let that tag match and give that storyline what it deserves. It deserves to be the main event in night one. That's all I got.
All right, Heather, let's get your take.
I thought Raw was it was pretty good. I like the beginning with KO, and I'm sorry, I'm lost. And starting, beginning with Sammy and KO, and Sammy said that it's Jay's biggest dream to backstab Roman, which I can't wait for main event Jay. Then of course, we're getting Sammy and KO versus the Usos at WrestleMania. I cannot wait for that because I want Sammy and KO to take those titles off of the Usos because it is time for the bloodline to go down. Austin Theory versus Montez. I'm really like Montez is just so totally awesome with the way he does his flips and kicks, that people don't like. But he is just so damn good with those flips that he does and the spots that he does. Like he is awesome. I just love Montez, and I love the Street Profits. Period. The Ali and the Almost match, like that was not even a match, and screw Almost. Then the Dominic and Johnny Gargano match. I actually thought that was a pretty good match, even though I can't stand Dom. But yeah, and then of course they announced that the entire Mysterio family was going to be at ringside at SmackDown. And I already knew that Dom was going to say something to his mom to get Ray to give him the match at WrestleMania. Little bastard. Then Bayley versus Rhea. That was interesting because they had not wrestled each other before. I thought that was a good match, except for them coming out there and interfering and all that crap. Ricochet and Chad Gable, good match. Love Ricochet. Then Bianca and Asuka versus Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. It was a great match. Then of course Asuka, attacked Bianca afterwards, which we all knew it was coming because they have their match at WrestleMania. Then SmackDown I didn't really get to watch that much, because I was having to do mom things. That the perfect thing, like I said, was when Ray finally knocked the hell out of Dom and agreed to the match. Because what he did to his mother, that was just wrong. And Ray posted, she might be your mother, but she's also my wife. And, you get your match because, and he just laid Dom out. And it's been a long time coming. And I was happy to see it. And then like with KO giving, Sammy the WrestleMania shirt, that was really good. Women's match, I did not get to watch, but from what I was told, it was not really good. NXT, my soap opera show. I like the Ilya Dragunov match versus JD McDonough. That was an excellent match. I really liked that one. Can't wait for the Johnny Gargano versus Grayson Waller match. I think that one's going to be an excellent match. And I also cannot wait for Carmella versus Braun. But besides that, that's all I got to say.
So you're not a fan of Omos whatsoever then?
No.
Oh, darn it.
Almost merch to send you, Heather.
Hell no.
I am so surprised that Heather doesn't like Grayson Waller. I'm so shocked.
Yeah. Yeah, what's up with that?
I just cannot believe that she wouldn't be a fan of Grayson Waller.
I cannot stand Grayson Waller. I cannot stand Amos, and I cannot stand the Bloodline, and I cannot stand Dominic Mysterio. Little whiny ass brat.
Wow. I think we're going to have to dedicate one episode for Heather to tell us who she does like or something. Anyhow, yeah.
We'll always have John Moxley in the Acclaim. I can live with that.
Alrighty. So, moving on, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the WWE Live in Salt Lake City last night. It was a really great event by every bit of the talent that did perform on the card. There was apparently some advertisements of a certain superstar that was supposed to be there, but apparently, as anyone knows, going to these live events, that can change at any second, and it did. So we did have a few surprises in there last night. I'm just going to go ahead and go through those match cards because they were all fun, nothing real serious. We started off with the triple threat for the Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair defeating Chelsea Green and Becky Lynch. And that was that was a really fun match, even with Chelsea Green being new and coming to the roster recently. She does a really great job playing her character, being the kind of the conceited, annoying person that feels she's owed everything. She's played that character very well. But I also want to give kudos to Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch post-match. They were out there signing autographs, high-fiving fans, taking selfie pictures and all that. So it was really great to see them women do all that for the fans along the ringside. Bronson Reed squashes Johnny Gargano in a second match. Right shortly after Bronson Reed gets the victory, he continues to attack the ribs of Johnny Gargano. So it'll be interesting to see how well he still sells that with the unsanctioned match with Grayson Waller coming up at NXT Stand and Deliver coming up this next Saturday, believe it or not. Match number 3, we had the women's tag match. And this is going to sound weird to many, but it was the team of Asuka and Mia Yim defeating Damage Control, who had Bayley by their side. And it's interesting because many people who asked me on Twitter, wait a minute, isn't Asuka supposed to be heel? Yes, on TV she is, but what many people don't understand on live events is they don't really always necessarily stick with the kayfabe. They like to just keep the house show events fun. However, after that match, Asuka did attack Mia Yim, so there's a little bit of your heel turn in Asuka still going there, so that should answer hopefully some of the questions. Cody Rhodes, shortly after, tries to cut a promo but gets interrupted by the Bloodlines, the Usos, and Solo Sikoa. And coming to Cody's aid was Braun Strowman and Ricochet. Shortly after, Adam Pearce comes out, makes the match official. It ends up being a co-main event where it's a 6-man tag. And that was Cody Rhodes, Ricochet, and Braun Strowman defeating the Bloodline members. In another 6-man tag match, we had the Brawling Brutes defeating Imperium. A triple threat for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair retains over Sonya Deville and Liv Morgan. And in the main event for the United States Championship, we had Austin Theory retain against Seth freaking Rollins. And I want to give kudos to every bit of the talent because they played their characters very well. They interacted with the fans. It was just a great night overall. So, but did Carlos, just to ask you, did you have any more thoughts regarding this week's programming?
No, I think I'm good. Like the thing that I kind of thought was cool about your house show experience is the fact that because usually like in the past and like years past, like usually at the house shows before WrestleMania, you would kind of get to see the WrestleMania matches because the talent we kind of run through WrestleMania matches. So I think it's kind of interesting that at this time, they don't do that anymore. So I think that's kind of cool. The one thing I just want to say again for me is I just think that WWE's finally kicking into gear for WrestleMania season, which was going more. But again, just to reiterate, it's time to change the belt, and it's time to put the belt on Cody. For the reasons of don't take the fans for granted. The fans are really into him. They're actually singing along to a song. You never see that in WWE before. Just please do not make the mistake of keeping the belt on Roman Reigns.
I think Heather will definitely agree with you on that. So
yes, I totally agree.
To Carlos's point about the house shows, reflecting the pay-per-views or being the trial ground, Carlos, what you didn't realize is they're getting ready to change all of the planned matches for WrestleMania this week. So that's why they had all those matches at the house show. So we're going to get that at Mania instead of what we have on the schedule right now. So of course I'm kidding, but
Vince McMahon's going to come back in and blow it all up.
Dude, if they blew it all up,
no chance in hell is going to play. No chance in hell is going to play on Saturday, and the whole card's going to change.
Twitter would be
don't put that in the universe, Brian. Don't even put that out.
Double H. What, didn't he make an appearance there, John?
Yeah, Double H, because due to budget cuts, we weren't able to see Triple H, so we saw Double H. But on the good note, we saw Double A. So hey.
So yeah, I enjoyed seeing your pictures up there, John. It's fun anytime I see friends that post stuff, and even like when Carlos was posting his house show from AEW, and then when I got to go to mine, I kind of got those things in my mind when I got to go. So that was it's always kind of cool to see that. So thanks for posting those.
Yeah, anytime, and I'm gonna eventually post some more, but I will do it on the Fans of Pro Wrestling Instagram page as soon as I get time. It'll probably be either tonight or tomorrow when I post them. So. And once I do, I'll post the link on Twitter for those who are interested to see some of the house show pictures there. I actually got a video, too, of Seth Rollins doing an introduction for Austin Theory just before their match started. So that'll be kind of fun to post right there. We will be right back. All right, we're back for our fun little top 10 segment for the week. And as usual, we'll start with Heather. Ladies first. Heather, go ahead and read your 10 and go all the way to 1.
Number 10, Johnny Gargano. Number 9, Montez Ford. Number 8, Cody Rhodes. I put 3 for number 7, Darby Allin, Sting, and Orange Cassidy. Number 6, Brody King. Number 5, Ilya Dragunov. Number 4, Top Flight. Number 3, Jon Moxley. Number 2, Kenny Omega. And number 1 is El Hiya del Vikingo.
just call him Vikingo for short. You're trying too hard. Just call him Vikingo for short.
Well, hey, we can't pronounce it like you. You're
Hijo de Vikingo.
Yeah, so you're the expert on that one. So we'll just leave all the Hispanic names to you for now.
Take care of top shit, and I'll take care of Vikingo. Yeah.
All right. Well, Carlos, since you're talking, let's get to your top 10.
All right, so my number 10 was, and our top ones are the same, but I like how different my headers are. So my number 10 was Ludwig Kaiser. Number 9, again, Stokely Hathaway. Kudos to him for the ass kicking he took this week. Number 8 was Rhea Ripley. Number 7 was Lyra Valkyria. Number 6 was Tiffany Stratton. Number 5, because I've been getting him some love lately, was The Acclaim. Number 4 was Dragunov. Number 3 was JD McDonough. Number 2 was Kenny Omega. And my number 1 was Hijo de Vikingo. Number 1.
Awesome. Yeah, and Brian doesn't have a top 10, so we'll just go ahead and cut right to mine.
Real quick, I will do a top 3.
Okay.
All right.
Go for it.
Number 3, Dominic Mysterio.
Oh,
shit.
Number
2, Usos. And number 1, Amos. There we go.
And don't forget number 4, Grayson Waller. Come on, top 4.
Oh, see, I just made it up real quick. I was like, there it is.
And see, now you'll probably heard Bryan Ballard's voice for the very last time on this podcast, as Heather will now beat the shit out of him when we stop recording. So,
You could have put the Miz as your number 5. You could have had a top 5 real easy there, or Baron Corbin.
Ooh.
Oh, geez, yeah.
I'm just waiting for NWO Machine to give us the business on Twitter now that Brian did that. So,
Did you listen to his new episode this week of his show?
I have not had time for it. Actually, I've been so stinking busy.
Really good. He did it with his friend, and his friend loves Dominic too. So I was just laughing as his friend was singing Dominic's praises. I was just laughing at the gym.
Oh.
So shout out to NWO Machine's friend this week for again being Team Dom. Again, only you can stop Domophobia.
I'm definitely gonna have to listen to that episode tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. I was just like,
I gotta catch up with the Shiz show. Yeah. I think Austin Boyer's Wrestling World and Wrestling with the War. I did not get. Yeah, I did not get to those 3 this week. It's just been super busy this last week, so my apologies to those guys, but definitely a shout out to you. You know, we all love you and try to support you as much as we can. So without any further ado, I'll go with my top 10 real quick. My number 10 went to LA Knight for finally winning a match on one of the shows. Because the poor guy's been pulling double duty the last few weeks and can't get a damn win, and he finally gets it. Unfortunately, it was thanks to Dominic. So my number 9 will go to the Blackpool Combat Club, Raising Hell and Breaking Bones. So my number 8 will go to Tiffany Stratton. My number 7 goes, I can't believe I'm going to say it, The Guns. I'm dreading that one all day. That was my number 7, right? Yeah, number 7.
I think so.
Yeah, number 6 went to Hook, just because I don't like Stokely Hathaway.
How dare you?
Yeah, I know. I suck. I'm a loser. My number
He's
5.
so funny. Oh my God, he's too much. He's so funny.
My number 5 went to The Acclaimed. Number 4 went to Omos. Sorry, Heather. Number 3 went to... Yeah, I know. My number 3 went to Rhea Ripley. My number 2 went to Kenny Omega. And my number 1 for the second time in a row. Hey, now. My number 1 for the second time in a row went to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Yeah, I know.
You used to want to say the name, right, sir?
Well, that's why I have you as my translator, Carlos. So next time I go into, foreign ground, you're going to be right there to pronounce everything for me. I mean, you already got Kanoski's last name down, so. Well, before we wrap up part 1 segment here, Brian, do you have any shout outs to give out for this week?
Yeah, I want to shout out Mooncutters podcast. Jeffrey over there is inviting us out on Thursday to do a WrestleMania predictions. So all of us here at the team, a couple of us will be able to go over there and help out with that. So, definitely shout out to him. And just honestly, shout out to everybody in Twitterverse. It's WrestleMania week, and I'm looking forward to just seeing everybody's posts and everybody's interactions because, it just adds so much value to WrestleMania week for me. So, shout out to everybody.
Awesome. Heather, you want to give some shout outs for the week?
I don't really have any. Just shout out to everybody that's listening. One shout out to James and Amber for joining us and supporting to listen to us today. And just like I said, shout out to all the wonderful people that support us.
All right. Carlos, you want to give yours?
Just again to our good friend Ted Hillbilly Hill again, guys. Keep listening to the Hill Truth on all the different platforms. He's a friend of the show. He's off Twitter, but we. And again, shout out to the Shiz show. Also, to everyone who listened in, Carol Bucks, James, Amber Lynn, Nesto, Aviv, Bostic, Marcy, Illuminous Soul, Steven, Susan, Phantom Sports, Sarah, Manny, and William. Thank you guys all for tuning in and joining us and listening in as we did our episode today.
Oh, did you catch Mags by chance, William?
Yeah, that's what I said, William.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry. I didn't hear that one.
That's what I said.
I had a little bit of a buzz in the, I'm not sure if one of us feedbacked
Yeah,
or not.
I know you've had a little bit of a buzz.
Like, rattle my ears. So I also want to give a shout out to Real Chris. He just barely joined us in the group too. So Chris, thank you. Sorry, you're about to catch part 2 though. So, but I do have a big shout out to Kevin who attended the Salt Lake City live event last night as well. That was a pretty long trip because I think he came from Libby, Montana, or is from Libby, Montana. But I saw he had a whole bunch of variety of signs for the live event last night. So, Kevin, that was pretty awesome of you to have all that. Anywho, we're going to wrap up part 1 right here. We're going to come back in a few minutes and get right to part 2.